What if ignoring your birthday reveals more about you than celebrating it ever could? Birthdays, for most people, mean balloons, messages, celebrations, and a special spotlight for at least one day. But have you ever noticed that some people treat their birthday like it's just another ordinary day? No excitement, no planning, no expectations, simply another date on the calendar. It might seem strange on the surface, but the psychology behind this behavior is far deeper, more fascinating, and more revealing than you might think. In today's video, we're going to explore the hidden mindset of people who quietly move through their birthdays. Are they emotionally distant? More mature? Guarded? Minimalists? Or is there something even more meaningful happening beneath the surface? You'll be surprised by how much personality, past experiences, and subconscious beliefs can influence such a simple decision. As you watch till the end, you'll uncover the emotional patterns, psychological traits, and silent stories of people who choose not to make their birthday a big deal. And who knows, you might even discover a part of yourself in this. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you see birthdays and people who don't celebrate them. But what if the quietest people have the loudest reasons for staying silent on their birthday? Many people move through their birthday just like any other day, but psychology shows that this behavior isn't random, it's deeply meaningful. Some people grow up learning that expectations lead to disappointment. They protect themselves emotionally by keeping expectations low, especially on days where people are supposed to show love or attention. Research on attachment styles shows that individuals with avoidant or dismissive traits often disconnect from celebrations because celebrations require vulnerability. If they don't expect anything, they can't be hurt. This doesn't make them cold, it makes them self-protective. Then there are the emotionally independent individuals. These are people who don't need a specific day to feel special. Their happiness comes from within, not from external celebrations. Studies on introverted reward systems show that introverts receive less dopamine from high-energy social situations, so big celebrations don't excite them, they drain them. They'd rather enjoy their day quietly, without the pressure of attention. For them, inner peace is worth more than candles and noise. Another powerful reason is minimalism. A growing number of people see birthdays as commercial and performative. They reject the idea that one must perform happiness or buy things to feel special. Behavioral economic research suggests that rituals feel meaningful only when someone personally connects to them. If they don't connect with the idea of birthdays, they simply don't celebrate, not out of sadness, but out of authenticity. Some people detach from birthdays because they feel age shouldn't define them. Birthdays often remind people of societal expectations, where they should be in life, what milestones they should have achieved, what others their age have accomplished. This creates achievement anxiety. Harvard research on self-comparison shows that people who constantly evaluate their progress against society feel uncomfortable with rituals that remind them of age and time. For them, Treating the day normally is less stressful than confronting those thoughts. Others are simply private souls. They dislike being the center of attention. They don't enjoy people swarming them with questions or wishing them out of obligation. Highly sensitive people, according to Dr. Elaine Aron's research, often find celebrations overwhelming, too loud, too bright, too much stimulation. Quiet people prefer intimacy, not attention. They may celebrate in their hearts, but not publicly. And then, there are those who carry emotional wounds. They may have experienced painful birthdays in the past, childhood neglect, forgotten celebrations, family fights, grief tied to the date, or financial struggles. For them, birthdays bring memories they'd rather not revisit. Emotion avoidance coping helps such individuals protect themselves by keeping the day simple. Not celebrating is their way of staying emotionally safe. Some individuals have a philosophical mindset. They see birthdays not as a party but as a moment to think deeply about life. They reflect on growth, purpose, and mortality. Existential psychology explains that people with high self-awareness often reject rituals that feel shallow. To them, meaning matters more than balloons. Their celebration happens internally, through reflection, not through gatherings. Others are simply burned out. Life today is stressful, work pressure, emotional fatigue, mental overload. When someone is already exhausted, planning a celebration feels like a task, not a joy. Whose studies show that burnout leads to emotional withdrawal and reduced social engagement. For these people, rest feels better than a party. Some people have naturally low social needs. They're not antisocial, just low maintenance. Social gatherings drain them, routine comforts them. Psychological studies on social energy reveal that certain individuals struggle with large group events and feel more aligned with quiet routines. A birthday celebration feels like pressure rather than pleasure. Finally, emotionally mature individuals treat birthdays normally because they don't need the day to define their value. They don't rely on validation. They appreciate life every day, not just once a year. Their contentment comes from gratitude, stability, and personal growth. In their eyes, life itself is the gift, not the celebration. What if the people who treat their birthday like a normal day are actually revealing the most honest version of themselves? When someone doesn't celebrate their birthday, it often means they have a unique internal relationship with time, identity, and emotional energy. Many of these individuals don't dislike the idea of celebration. They simply see life through a different lens. Their reasons are deeply psychological, layered with personal history, emotional wiring, and lived experiences. To truly understand them, we must look at their behavior patterns, how they interact with life, how they show love, and how they prefer others to show love to them. Some people don't celebrate their birthday because they have a different emotional rhythm. They experience joy quietly, not loudly. They're not the type to jump, shout, cheer, or host gatherings. Their joy is inward, subtle, calm. They may feel grateful, blessed, or reflective, but all of it happens inside them, not outside. These individuals often express happiness through small routines: a warm cup of tea, a peaceful walk, time alone with their thoughts, or doing something meaningful without telling anyone. Psychologists call this internal emotional processing, where emotions are fully felt but not publicly displayed. For these individuals, a birthday is too public for such a private emotion. Others avoid celebrating because they don't like social obligation. Birthdays can create a sense of responsibility. You must reply to messages, take calls, post pictures, meet expectations, and show gratitude, even when you don't feel emotionally available. Some people find this pressure suffocating. They don't want to perform happiness. They don't want to pretend they're excited. They prefer sincerity over performance, and a birthday often forces a certain behavior they don't naturally show. By treating the day as normal, they protect themselves from social pressure and emotional exhaustion. This is connected to the psychological concept of autonomy preference, where people value freedom in expressing or not expressing emotion. For some individuals, celebrating their birthday feels unnecessary because they measure life through experiences, not dates. They see growth not in years, but in wisdom. They don't wait for a specific date to reflect on their life. They do it constantly. They analyze their mistakes, achievements, failures, habits, and growth regularly. These individuals often say things like, "Every day is important," or "I celebrate life daily." Their mindset is shaped by continuous self-awareness, not by yearly rituals. This kind of thinking aligns with continuous self-development psychology, where people evolve through everyday choices rather than milestone celebrations. There is also a group of people who feel uncomfortable receiving love. Not because they don't want it, but because they don't know how to receive it. Many people grow up emotionally independent, relying on themselves for validation. When others suddenly give them attention on their birthday, they feel vulnerable, exposed, or overwhelmed. They don't know how to process that sudden emotional intensity. Research on receptive discomfort shows that some individuals feel anxious when others express affection toward them. For these individuals, avoiding a birthday celebration helps them avoid emotional overload. Some people ignore birthdays because they associate them with expectations. Expectations to smile, to act happy, to dress well, to be social, to celebrate. But what if they don't feel like doing any of that? Many individuals dislike feeling obligated to fit into a socially accepted version of happiness. They want to be authentic, even if that authenticity looks simple or quiet. They don't want to force an emotion they're not feeling. This behavior reflects the psychological concept of emotional authenticity, where people prefer truth over performance. Certain individuals avoid birthdays because they struggle with self-worth. It's not that they think they don't deserve celebration. They just don't see themselves as someone who needs it. They may feel invisible throughout the year, overlooked or undervalued. So when the birthday comes, they think, why should today be different? This thinking is tied to lower self-esteem, but it's not always negative. Sometimes it's simply a result of independence. These individuals have learned not to depend on external validation. They're used to giving themselves internal recognition. They don't expect people to show up for them, so they live as if the day is ordinary. A surprising number of people treat their birthday normally because they genuinely forget it. Life becomes busy, responsibilities pile up, and adulthood absorbs attention. These people are constantly focused on responsibilities, work, family, studies, bills, commitments. Their mind is always processing tasks, not dates. When their birthday arrives, they barely notice. Their life is structured around priorities, and celebrating themselves falls low on that list. This is especially common in people with high conscientiousness, individuals who prioritize duty over leisure. Some individuals avoid celebrating because they fear being judged. They worry about planning something that might disappoint others or reveal their social circle is smaller than expected. They feel embarrassed showing vulnerability. So they choose the safer route, treating the day like any other. This fear is connected to social evaluation anxiety, a psychological experience where individuals avoid situations where others might judge their social standing, lifestyle, or emotional expression. Others treat their birthday normally because they associate celebrations with noise, chaos, and overstimulation. They may dislike loud gatherings, messy decorations, crowded rooms, or the pressure of hosting. These individuals often prefer order, calmness, and predictability. A birthday disrupts routine, and that disruption feels uncomfortable. People who are highly sensitive or introverted often fall into this category. Their nervous system prefers softness, which makes quiet birthdays feel more aligned with their emotional wiring. Many people who ignore their birthday have a unique relationship with time. They feel time is flowing too fast. A birthday reminds them of aging, responsibilities, and the speed of life. Rather than confronting the fear of time slipping away, they choose to ignore the ritual. This is common in individuals experiencing time anxiety, where the passing of time creates internal pressure. Treating the birthday as normal helps them feel less overwhelmed by the years. There are also people who treat their birthday normally because they find meaning in solitude. They don't want crowds or gatherings. They want peace. They reflect on their lives quietly, think about what they achieved, and set new intentions, without telling anyone. Solitude is not loneliness, it is clarity. Psychologists call this reflective solitude, where people prefer meaningful moments alone rather than shallow interactions with others. Some avoid celebrating because they dislike emotional unpredictability. A birthday can bring surprises, unexpected guests, uncontrollable situations, emotional conversations, or unwanted attention. People who value control and stability prefer predictable days. Celebrating feels like giving away emotional control. So they choose peace. Others treat birthdays normally because they don't feel the need to document their lives publicly. They don't want to post stories, take pictures, or prove anything online. They prefer living privately. This is becoming more common as people feel overwhelmed by digital expectations. These individuals value privacy as protection, not secrecy. They celebrate life quietly, away from digital eyes. Another important factor is the shift in identity. As people age, they evolve. Priorities change. Celebrations that felt exciting at 10 or 15 no longer feel important at 25, 30, or 40. Maturity often brings a desire for meaning, not excitement. A quiet birthday feels more aligned with who they've become. There are also individuals who avoid birthdays because they feel emotionally misunderstood by the people around them. When people don't truly understand you, celebrating feels empty. Instead of pretending, they choose simplicity. They prefer genuine emotional connection over forced celebration. Psychology refers to this as emotional misalignment. When someone feels emotionally out of sync with their environment, they naturally avoid moments of spotlight. Some individuals avoid birthdays due to cultural, family, or religious influences. They may have grown up in an environment where birthdays were not celebrated or were considered unnecessary. This becomes an internalized belief system that continues into adulthood. Others simply prefer peace over attention. Many people feel drained by the idea of being the center of focus. Receiving compliments, opening gifts, cutting cake, all of it can feel overwhelming. They prefer experiencing joy without being watched. They prefer meaningful interactions over public moments. And then there's one of the most overlooked reasons, self-awareness. People who understand themselves deeply often simplify their lives. They don't chase external celebrations because their inner world is rich. They value introspection. They appreciate life without needing an occasion to validate that appreciation. Understanding people who treat their birthday like a normal day requires one thing: compassion. Everyone has a story, a personality, a childhood, a mindset, an emotional pattern. Their quiet birthday doesn't mean they don't care. It means they experience life differently. Some do it out of strength, some out of pain, some out of peace, some out of habit, some out of maturity, some out of self-protection, some because they simply don't feel the need. If someone in your life treats their birthday like an ordinary day, don't assume they are sad, ungrateful, or broken. They might just be someone who feels deeply, loves quietly, and thinks differently. They might be someone who believes that life is too sacred to limit celebration to one day. As we come to the end of this journey, remember one thing. People who treat their birthday like a normal day aren't strange, distant, or disconnected. They are simply human, carrying stories, emotions, and experiences that shape how they move through life. Their quietness does not mean emptiness. It means depth. Their simplicity does not mean they don't care. It means they value peace. And their silence does not mean they don't feel. It means they feel in their own unique way. If you're someone who treats your birthday like a regular day, know this: you are not alone. There are millions of people just like you. People who celebrate life quietly, meaningfully, and sincerely. There is no right or wrong way to celebrate your existence. What matters is that you honor your journey, your growth, and your heart in whatever way feels true to you. Take a moment today to appreciate how far you've come. Every challenge you survived, every lesson you learned, every piece of strength you gained, it all matters. And you matter. Thank you so much for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may help someone else feel understood. Until the next video, take care of yourself.